And this has been a work that's been going on for several years prior to the actual start of the funding period, in which Eric works with Design for Industry students with support from my department, which is kind of an essentially based team that facilitate the use of technology in student learning experiences at the university. Eric was trying to get students in various universities across the globe, from Australia, South Korea, Holland, UK, North America, to work together on industry-based projects with some quite prestigious partners, Intel, Motorola, companies like that. And it was working, but it really wasn't working very well. We were having to host a lot of the collaborative activity outside of the university's infrastructure, because there was kind of this immediate resistance to trying to do any of this work within the university's infrastructure, and we were wanting to use the project to see what could we do using open source software, what could we do within the university's infrastructure to get beyond the kind of our IT services people's reluctance for this collaboration, and also things like license agreements around VLE and the restrictions that would impose on the collaboration. So starting at the start of the project, one of the changes, the whole thing, big high user-led change, Eric's informing how it works. We are very much working closely with Eric and very much in support. But our IT services people were very, very, very resistant. And we had to do a lot of work with them to bring them around to change. But we see certain things. We did have a Skype facility within the university, but if the students wanted to use it, they couldn't then use any of the programs at the same time. So they couldn't actually look at the projects work that they were doing and discuss it live, So we got them to change that and bring our Skype completely into the university network. We got them to agree to take the server that we had been using, that was externally hosted, and bring it into the university network. So there were some key, very significant changes that our IT people made. At the time, at this point, I suppose the negative or disappointment was attitudes of colleagues. In terms of our director of IT services, his change became positive, but Eric still has problems with his colleagues within the department. There are colleagues who really think that students shouldn't be collaborating with students in other universities. And what we were trying to do in terms of technology was find ways for students to file share, something we haven't really cracked very well. We wanted some kind of wiki-type collaboration space, and we wanted these kind of live communication tools. What we set out to do as part of the kind of project plan was to test the software for wikis, and we took a bit of software called Clone, and we used that. And we did an evaluation at the end of 2009, the end of a semester Slovenia project with Intel. Found a number of problems with that. There were technical problems. Some students were actually migrating from Clone and collaborating using other facilities. And we've also discovered that students lacked digital skills in what they were doing, which we'll come back to. So a big pluses from that, we then, for this semester, are running WordPress, which seems to be working much better and much more fit for purpose from a technical and a user perspective. So they're big pluses for us. Also, we've now seen IT services have opened up. We have Office Communicator. We've had that in the university for around 18 months. They've now opened that up to external users. So the students can now do live communication both with Skype and with an online text facility as well. So we've seen big pluses. The changes in the way that our IT people are now very much more open to meeting the kind of the needs of academics to do some very interesting stuff. In terms of what a few people have already mentioned, how do you sustain your project? We're developing new partnerships within the university. There are other people now starting to think, this is interesting, this may be very useful for us. And we're also submitted a recent bid about looking at the digital literacy skills of our students, and what work can we now do to enhance that so that they make much more effective use, particularly of WordPress. In terms of as key negative, attitudes of colleagues. Eric's still finding resistance within the department. The big plus, and this is for me personally, is how I've developed a much better relationship with our central IT services people. There's a lot more trust there, and it's enabling me to be able to influence, not just in terms of this project, but a lot more about the university is going to use technology in students' learning experiences. So it makes my job easier. So.